Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan Aranda here, my best life Paraguay. And today we are going to be breaking down the top 12 things that I miss the most about the United States, right? Of living abroad here. And I've been abroad for 4 months now. If you guys want my longer story, I'll put it up here. I have it in English and in Spanish. My story, right? Just in case you are watching subtitles here. I do want to put that out there that I have my longer story, why I'm here. I just real quick, I was born here. I do have family here. So this is not an entirely new country for me. I do have connections here and a family life here, right? So, anyways, but yeah, but being here permanently, 4 months abroad, I was able to put this list together. And so I'm gonna start with number 12, and I'm gonna work my way to number one. What I missed the most at the end of this video. Okay, so we're just gonna start out by me saying that I really miss the hedonism and the lack of femininity in America, and I really hate really miss the boss babes and the incels, and then definitely I miss the unaffordability of America. I really miss the healthy the political climate too. Okay, I'm just kidding, you guys. I'm just kidding. Okay, obviously I don't miss any of that stuff. And in fact, here, let me say before I actually dive into the things. Okay. Okay. I'm actually going to make a video of the, the, the 12 things I've missed the least about America. Okay. That'll be the next video. But now I want to keep it positive. What are the 12 things that I miss while living abroad? Okay. We're going to actually be serious now. Okay. So number 12 um, is less scamming happens in America. Now, I know maybe some of you guys will disagree with me here, but like, unfortunately, in developing countries, there's more scams, right? They're even led by some foreigners, right? Um, but there could be a lot of people out for you, right? Out to try to take advantage of you in certain ways, right? Whether it be women, whether it be people on Facebook Marketplace, they're not actually legit. Whether it be this or that, or people want you to invest in this, or people offer services that don't really exist, or they promise things that they can't really uh, follow through on, etc. Right? So I really despise it from the locals, but I despise it even more from foreigners who are scammers, who are scam artists. I don't like you guys. You guys are not my friends. You are my ops. I don't care for you guys at all. So like that's just how it is, man. This is my country. Okay, you guys gotta understand that. So like, I don't like locals getting effed over. I don't like foreigners getting effed over. Expats getting left effed over for when they want to live a serious life down here. Eventually I'm gonna start calling some of this stuff out too, man. So and I don't like people who overprice stuff. Like, okay, it's okay to put a price. You have to make your living, but then there's the overpricers, right? There's the ones who charge far too much. Sorry, guys. I got like two flies flying around. If you see flies, my bad. I promise I keep my place relatively clean, but when I open the door to let my dog out, there's just flies. Okay, so that's number 12. Number 11. Okay. So just to finish up number 12, uh, yes, there's absolutely scamming that goes on in America. It's probably more online stuff. But there's less of the in your face, person to person, scam culture that can unfortunately happen more in developing countries, right? What you guys, a lot of you guys would call third world countries. But if we're going to be honest, a lot of America looks third world these days. So let's not go there. Okay. Number 11 is in-person employment opportunities, right? So this I won't spend too much time on this, but if you're moving abroad, you gotta focus on something like a YouTube channel or whatever online thing that you're trying to do, get started, etc., or continue if you already have a job, etc. But it's you can, once you're a resident of these places, you can work as a resident, but then you're gonna be making the currency here. But so what I'm trying to say is there's much less or there, it's much more limited, the opportunities online than there are in person, back in your hometown, back in your home county, back in your home state, etc. And obviously, like you being a citizen of those countries, you have first access to these jobs, to get hired, right? Okay, I'm not going to spend more time on that. You guys get the picture. It's easy to understand. So that was number 11. Number 10, what do I miss about the United States? I miss the sidewalks and the streets. Now, I know even where I'm from, even Wisconsin, there's a lot of potholes, right? There's a lot of streets that aren't the prettiest, but in comparison with a lot of Latin America, even those streets are pretty decent. You know what I mean? The downtown here in Asuncion is very nice, right? The best streets, right? But not everywhere. Okay. So, I just did want to just be real about that. Especially the side streets and stuff. And when it rains hardcore, this is a tropical country. So when it rains, unfortunately, there could be a lot of sitting water in the streets, etc. Um, that's not to necessarily say I want every street to be paved. Why? Because then you're going to get motorbikes going 100 miles an hour, right? And they can set up the little bumps along the way to the speed bumps. Um, but even those, like, people, the moment they get over that speed bump, they're just flying again, to the next one. So I do miss sidewalks, right? And there will be another point here that I make later in this video, but yeah, I guess, and yeah, just some of the infrastructure too, I guess, in general, beyond sidewalks. Like where I live, I have a street lamp like right in front of my house, which is nice, but like not everybody does. But yeah, there's gonna be like more well lit streets in America as well. I guess that kind of goes into the whole transportation infrastructure, right? Okay, so that was number 10. Now, number 9. It is Amazon and super quick delivery. Now, do I like Amazon as a company? No, I think they exploit the shit out of their employees. I think they have awful workplace practices. Um, but on the consumer side of things, that, like, what I mean, you can even get things delivered in the same day, and this is stuff beyond just like food and stuff. Obviously, like, you can get like entire groceries, and I guess I could throw Walmart Plus in here too. Just very convenient stuff, next day stuff, same day stuff. uh I'm not gonna lie, I kind of miss that as an American, right? Here I have to make an effort to go find these things to understand where I can purchase them. There's some online stuff for groceries, and here even, and for like delivery for food items. um but it's not even close to where you can pretty much get almost anything online in North America, right? Even like Canada and Mexico, I believe, and even Europe, I think, are all Amazon countries, or where Amazon delivers to and all that. So yeah, I'll put Amazon in it, but I guess I'll just put any fast service delivery stuff. Okay, number 8, you guys, is American football. I know I'm wearing a baseball hat now, but that's just because of Milwaukee. My grandma, Milwaukee, so I rep Milwaukee hard. I grew up in Madison, but we, as kids, we always visited Milwaukee, and we went to some baseball games. It's a city that I love. I hold dear in my heart, so that's why you see me with a lot of Bucks hats, and Milwaukee Brewers hats, and all that, right? And yeah, today, patriotic America, right before the election. I'm not going to touch politics right now. Okay. Okay, you guys. But yeah, yeah, I miss American football. I miss the the Sunday games, even some of the Saturday games for like the college. It's one of those times of the year in the fall where it gets a little bit lively. Like the university students are out, there's football games, it's kind of football culture. We don't really have a true culture in America, so a lot of times our culture revolves around sports that are predominantly American football, American, or basketball is way more worldwide these days. Actually, I'd actually even here in Paraguay, um, and baseball is becoming more worldwide, but it started as an American sport. But yeah, we kind of rally around these things, right? And there's it's I kind of miss that culture. I get to catch national soccer games down here, which is freaking cool, man. When Paraguay plays against, like, we just won against Brazil and Venezuela, so those are really cool. Like it has a lot of the same environment kind of stuff, um, and the same like feeling, but even a hardcore camaraderie because your country is competing against another country, and we're always the littlest country down here of like 7 million, and we'll compete against countries that are like 100 million, 200 million people, and sometimes we win, and these are Cup qualifying games, so that's one of the best things I actually really like about like healthy nationalism when it comes to that kind of stuff. Being a little country, sometimes the bigger countries that have like the Argentinas, they can kind of be like more bullies like when they win, and be more nationalistic in a uglier sense, right? But like us, we're, I mean, how can you even hate on us? We're a country of 7 million people, tops 8 million. It might reach one day. Okay, so yeah, that was number 8. So we're going to go to number 7. It kind of has to do with number 8, but number 7 are the Four Seasons, but caveat, minus the harsh long winters, for those who are from northern states, right? You guys understand exactly what I mean. Canadians know exactly what I mean. People who live in the northern parts of Europe know exactly what I mean. um, it can be really depressing, like our winters, right? Especially if, say, like in my case, I didn't have a relationship for a couple of years before I came here, at least not like a serious one. And So our winters can be very depressing. I mean, it goes into our uh statistics, unfortunately, with like suicide, mental health, and all that stuff just starts taking a plunge, like fall months going to winter. But overall, I like there is something special about the Four Seasons, in that are in the Midwest where I'm from, in the United States, that because you have those Four Seasons, you kind of get prepared for certain times throughout the year, and like uh, you know it's there's something special to it, right? And Hollywood always portrays America as like the Four Seasons. You're gonna have the beautiful fall season, then the winter, and then they always downplay winter, right? Because winter's not that fucking spectacular unless you're rich and going fucking skiing on fucking hills every goddamn day or some shit like that. But even people don't even have money for that anymore. Like, dude, back in the day, winter used to be more fun, when you're a kid, or like even like when people just had more discretionary income to like go do things as a family, like, and go to like to a cheap like $5 day at the snow hill to go snowboarding. Now all that shit costs so much goddamn money. And I know that there are more well-off families that do all that shit, all the winter activities. They're just joyful as hell, and they're maybe you got maybe you're actually one of the few minority couples that actually like is good for one another, and you have a child and you're going sledding and stuff. Like, that's the joyful stuff of winter. But if we're going to be honest, most adults, that aren't in relationships, that are in bad relationships, that are not hitting these economic numbers that they want to be, so they don't even feel good about like spending any more income that they might have on going to like a snow hill, because they're too stressed out about like, wait, I can't worry about going to a snow hill this year. I can barely pay rent. I can barely fucking get food on the table. So like a lot of us may have that nostalgia from like the 90s or the 2000s, where we are just like the snowboarding kids, the skier kids. But like for so many families this day, they don't even have those experiences because it's just too expensive. America's too fucking expensive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So because of that, since there's less access to activities because of pricing alone, the winter experience isn't as pleasant, isn't as fun, right? And with climate change, our winters are even harsher on the back ends usually. So like January, February, March are just like astonishingly astonishingly cold, right? You know, December is almost November and December are almost like fall at this point. But anyways, so yeah, four seasons in general though. You know, it's I miss it. Okay, now number six, ethnic diversity. See, back home in the U.S., I have a lot of friends from a lot of different ethnicities, a lot of different colors, and like I think that that's a special thing, you know. And like if I would have grown up here in Paraguay, I would have just pretty much essentially known all Paraguayos, maybe one foreigner, and their kids grew up in school with you. You might know like an Argentinian or something like that, but you're not gonna. The U.S. has a ton of diversity, especially if you live in cities, right? Um, and it's a cool thing, man. Like I even just like I remember like coworkers like I used to like this person's from Brazil. Oh, this person is from like here and there and there and there and there and there and there, just like everywhere in the world, right? Now I will say that once a lot of uh new immigrants come to the country, they become over Americanized, and then they just forget about their culture. But I like people who continue their culture, who continue their the food that they make, the cultural practices, because that's the rich stuff. You know, I consider rich stuff in America, right? Because like I said, there's hardly a culture unless you bring it from your old country. There's hardly a culture here in America besides like I don't know, paying your taxes, American sports, maybe varsity football and cheerleading, and I don't know, some patriotic movies and going to war. I guess that's America, right? What the fuck else is there to throw in there? Degenerate dating situation, boss babes and incels. I guess we're the capital of the world for that. I guess maybe Hollywood too, but like even Hollywood, man, it's not even the same anymore. Where it used to be like, oh, America's number one with Hollywood and all that. It's like, yeah, but nowadays, like almost anybody can produce music. I mean, there's even here in Paraguay, there's like a Hollywood equivalent type movies. So even Hollywood doesn't have the same allure that it had in decades past, right? Um, but yeah, so I think by diversity in general, and then like that also goes into my next point, which is number five, ethnic restaurants and food. You guys, I really miss Mexican food. I miss actually a lot of American foods too. Um, like especially like Chicago style foods. Like, bro, come on, man. Chicago style hot dogs, Italian beefs. But I don't care for Chicago style deep dish pizzas though. That's not really. Some other ones though. um, yes, and just like all the different Asian restaurants, like back home in my college town, there's like the Thai food. All this shit's just expensive, right? And I'm not saying it's not expensive, but I still miss it though. It's harder to find like Thai food here. There's Korean food here, but like Thai, I don't think I've seen one Thai restaurant here. There could be in the downtown. I just don't live downtown. It's like 25 minutes away from me, 20 minutes. But yeah, I miss the ethnic foods and just like the accessibility of ethnic foods and pretty close on to true ethnic foods too, like the true Thai dishes, the true Mexican dishes, the true even like Colombian and Peruvian dishes. There's a lot of South Americans in the U.S. too, where I live, and they pop up at restaurants like crazy, and they're really freaking good too. Um, no Paraguay ones in my city though. Maybe I'll be the first, right? If I go back to the States and just start one, nah, it'd be a terrible idea. I don't want to spend all that money on that. I'd rather spend something here, right? Anyway, so yeah, man, I really miss especially Mexican food, you guys. Oh my god, dude, I miss true authentic Mexican. There's a couple of restaurants here, but at least what I've seen, they're not really truly authentic, man. Like most North Americans know what authentic Mexican food is, or at least close to it, right? Even the Tex-Mex stuff, I still really miss too. You know what I mean? So yeah, you guys, I definitely miss that stuff. Okay, which goes into number four, you guys, the lack of spices and specific foods. Okay. So what am I talking about? I was a real. You can go on my personal Instagram, Ryan Adanda 3, I think, or whatever. You can add me on there. So I don't really have it posted on my best life but a Y page, but I was actually a pretty big cook before I left, right? After I had a breakup, I really was just like starting to just dive into like foods and stuff and just like, okay, I want to learn how to make this dish and this dish and this dish. I was learning mostly stuff off of YouTube, but also other recipes I would find online, for like legitimate Mexican food, legitimate American foods, Cajun foods, all that stuff. But like finding the right spices down here, especially like for the Cajun stuff, I really want to make like jambalayas. Like it's, and I know that some people will tell me, "Oh, I know exactly where to go in Asunción where you can get all that stuff." It's like, okay, but I've been to like 5 different grocery stores and I can't find these certain spices like that. I would love to make like legitimate jambalaya, right? And in fact, I might like try to get some of this stuff from the States next time I go, or if somebody might bring some of this stuff to me. But like, I really want my Cajun seasoning back. I want my Creole seasoning back. There's a couple other ones too. Um, and like I said, maybe I could find them. I just haven't found them yet after like 4 months. And I don't go 30 minutes away to some grocery store. I'm going to the ones that are like less than 5 minutes away. You know what I mean? And maybe one day I will actually try to search this stuff out closer to downtown if there's maybe more imports and stuff coming from there. But I miss the spices, man. Some of the spices, like I was stacked with spices before I left, and I even asked myself, I was like, damn, dude, I should probably be taking some of these spices, right? And I was like, nah, I bet you I can find them, but no, you can't. Not all of them, man. It's unfortunately pretty limited for spices. And yeah, and uh yeah, unfortunately. And then certain foods, right? It's really hard to find green tomatoes, tomatillos here. People tell me they exist, but I don't see them in the supermarkets. um I don't know, maybe I literally am just blind or something, but I cannot find tomatillos, and like that's something very common in the North America, because Mexico is so close to the States, Canada, etc. So like, they're tomatillos are cheap, even, well, they're not that cheap, but whatever. They're inexpensive fruits that you use to make the green salsa, which I used to make salsa verde enchiladas. So I really miss those, and I miss Mexican cilantro. I have not found like true cilantro down here. Um, we would call it perejil mexicano, like Mexican parsley, pretty much. And there's another Guarani word for it, but I have not found that really profound like Mexican, like you can smell it from like fucking a yard away, yeah, like a meter away type thing in the grocery stores in America, right? So I really miss like that hard, profound tasting freaking coriander, freaking cilantro, right? Um, and yeah, so, or yeah, cilantro. I don't know why I say coriander. Is that something different? I don't know. Whatever. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I miss the cilantro, man. And those like those Mexican things that like they're the best in Mexico. And aguacates here, avocados, they're giant, dude. They're freaking giant. I don't even want to buy them just because they're so huge. I actually kind of like the smaller ones in the States, the Mexican ones, right? Now they're expensive as shit coming from Mexico, right? And there are ones here, and but they're really big, so you have to use like the entire thing. Um, Maybe there are smaller ones. I just haven't found them yet. But at least what I've seen, it's kind of like that. And also coming from Wisconsin, I miss our cheeses. I miss our dairies. Wisconsin, I mean, if anybody's watching this from Wisconsin or the Midwest, you were so blessed with cheeses. Even something like a real cheddar cheese, you guys, that is a blessing for you guys back in the States, right? Dude, the cheddar cheese here is abysmal. It's like Kraft singles. It's like the fake stuff almost. Like you don't even want to eat it, right? But unfortunately, that's what's like on hamburgers down here. Like they don't have the real Wisconsin like cheddar. And I bet you that somebody could probably manipulate, or like not manipulate, but like produce that cheese down here in the right way the Wisconsinites do it. So shout out to whatever the original origins would be, Germans or whoever back in Wisconsin that originally came up with like the real like cheddar, how it's supposed to taste, like the sharp cheddars, the all the other cheeses, right? Paraguay has its cheeses for sure, but they're just not as good, man. If I'm gonna be honest, like they're just really not. I know cheese can be pricey in America, and it can be pricey here too, but I miss that stuff, you guys. Like for real. um, there are other things that I'm forgetting right now. But anyways, the whole thing is like, yeah, spices and specific foods I definitely really miss that are very hard to come by here, or they just don't exist at all, right? Okay, which brings me to number three: dog friendly neighborhoods in America. Okay, so what do I mean? Um, most dogs in America are on leashes, right? There you can walk your dog almost anywhere. And I've done walks with my dog out here, but you just got to be so much more careful with like street dogs and like dogs who are territorial, and like people just like kind of like let their dogs do whatever they want during the day, and then they come back, and like my dog's new in the hood. So like, the, and he's a good dog, but like I still get scared all the time, like, what if the dog is too territorial, wants to start fighting him or some shit like that, so it's just more of a, you're taking more of a chances to take your dog around the hood. Now, maybe some of you will like, well, I live in the best neighborhoods down in downtown Asuncion. I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, good for you, man. But I live in the hood. I live among the people here in Paraguay. And like it's kind of a challenge. You literally see me had to run on some videos when I do walk and talks because like, oh shit, man, there's a dog coming. And mostly dogs are good around my own neighborhood, but just in the one case that like they're not and they want to like fight or something like that, like it's just a little bit more iffy, right? Okay. And yeah, and I guess just dog culture too in America is much more. See, Americans barely talk to Americans, but a lot of times dogs break the ice for Americans, right? A lot of times, like people will love our dogs more than we love our neighbors, literally, right? Or we'll begin to love our neighbors because they have a dog or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Um, but there's and believe me, people love animals down here. They absolutely do. But there are just some things like the example I just gave, like letting them roam around a lot, which means that they're going to start claiming territory, which means that it's going to be harder for you to walk your dog to places, etc. Okay. I won't explain that anymore. Pretty self-explanatory. That was number three. Now we're going to move on to number two, which also has to do with dogs, but I miss dog parks, you guys. I absolutely miss dog parks. So that was one of the biggest things me and my dad would bond on. Would like we would just pick up my dog, take him to one of the parks, and he would just freely roam, play with the other dogs, run with the other dogs. There's big areas dedicated to just dogs. In fact, that's actually one of my goals here are to set up true dog parks here in Paraguay. Well, this is a long term goal. Okay, it's not going to happen in like a year. Well, if I get one going on in a year, that'd be cool. But like this is a longer term goal, right? Of mine is to make it a more dog friendly nation, to get Paraguayans a little more educated on like dog culture, like etc. Now, like I said, Paraguayos really truly care about animals, but there are just some things that are lacking when it comes to like picking up dog poop and stuff like that. That like at the parks or whatever. And there's some ciclovias here that will allow dogs. And in fact, I got really sad because I've taken him once to when I did my video, my walk and talk. If I remember, I'll put it up here. If not, just search out ciclovia. It's the green walking space and inside the city. That was the closest thing you would have came to a dog park. It's not a true dog park where you can like let them roam or whatever. But it was still a place for dogs. But now they actually are not allowing dogs. That's because a lot of Paraguayans won't pick up the dog excrement. So it's a process to. This is how my sister explained it. It's down here. It's a process to get Paraguayans on the same level as Americans and Europeans when it comes to dog culture, dog spaces. When your dog's with you, make sure you're cleaning up after him, etc. Right? And so Latin America is coming up on it, but it's just not there yet. Like where your average American Western society might be at with some of this stuff. Okay. And yeah, so dog parks though, I really truly miss. I mean, they're great places. They're great little escapes, right? And then just your dog's just having a blast. There's one of the last places I went with my dad when I was in America, right? And I really miss those moments, like just taking my dog for a walk, and he'd be a big reason why I even saw my parents as much as I did, like several times a week. I know that that's not everybody's case, right? And I haven't seen my parents in 4 months in person, but I tried my best before I left to see them as much as I could, like in person, and a lot of that was through my dog and just like taking him out and stuff. So, a lot of bonding around this little guy. Okay. And number one, it should be on top of everybody's list, but the people, right? I miss my family and my friends. Really, truly. I know that my family and my friends may not understand everything about me. They may look at me like I'm fucking crazy, like, oh my God, you're gambling a lot to be out there. And yeah, I am. Believe me, I am. But, it's something I needed to do in my heart to be here in Paraguay. I just knew that I was not going to be able to handle one more crazy long winter in the States, right? Just like, and I could have sucked it up and maybe done some self improvement shit, but I was just so out of it. You guys, mentally, emotionally, I was just so done with being a cubicle Carl. And I could go back to that life as long as there's more of a payoff too. I felt so stuck economically. I just felt everything I should not be feeling. I felt incredibly lonely because I made a promise I just was not going to date American women anymore. Done it over and over and over, damn near every single ethnicity at one point or another. And like, it was just, I just wasn't feeling the American culture. The American culture is me, 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 me first. And believe me, there's a lot of selfishness here. I talk about this all the time in Paraguay too. But, but there's more of a chance that you'll meet more of a collectivist mind girl. Now, you could have to sift through a few. You could have a few relationships that don't end up working out before you find the right girl, but there's a much better chance that you will find the one here in Paraguay. And I know I'm talking about family and friends, but I'm just talking about my life because my family and friends don't really understand, or they understand, and I can list these things off, and I can list house prices and rent prices and the cost of living prices and this and that. But what it really comes down to is my heart, man. Like I'm telling you, man, I was gonna have a mental breakdown in America. Like I was just gonna be like, I don't know if I was just gonna like, I don't know, like stop trying at work, even virtually. Like I just felt like I was at a breaking point mentally. And so I had to do this move, A lot of, maybe some of you guys don't want to hear that. Maybe you guys want to, everything was good, everything was so good, go happy, you guys, back in America. But nah, man, shit sucked in America. I just listed off and okay, but okay, so let's close this out. So yeah, so number one was my family and friends. I miss my family and friends. It's very obvious. Everybody does when they move overseas, right? To different levels, okay? But I do, and that's my number one. Okay, now I'm just gonna give my final thoughts and conclusions. So I started this video off joking, right? Like with the whole like, oh, I miss the hedonism of dating, and I miss the cost of living. It was just amazing. I can afford everything back in America. Oh, I can definitely afford that $500,000 house. Oh, for sure. Let me go buy it tomorrow. No, I was just joking at the beginning, right? And actually, like I said, I actually will make probably my next video about like the things I don't miss about America, which there's a lot. This could be a lot more than 12, right? And in fact, even this 12 kind of was like, it kind of took me a while to think of these 12, like, what do I actually miss about America? Not too much, right? And honestly, all 12 of these things, okay, well, besides the people and the dog stuff, all this other stuff I can go without, dude. Even as I'm like complaining a little bit, like spices and Wisconsin cheese and all this shit in American football, bro, this nothing compared to overall happiness, overall able to afford life, overall being able to afford to have time to dedicate what I actually want to do for once in my life, and it's not just dictated by my boss back home, or this corporation or this organization or this institution, right? I can actually like do something like this, speak a little bit more freely, right? Because I'm not attached to something that says, oh, but you have to represent our organization to this way and this level. And if you diverge even just a little bit, you could be fired tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, dude, I just felt myself walking on eggshells back home when it came to workplace stuff, which means that you can't really be yourself outside of the workplace because you're still representing the workplace even when you're not working. Walking on eggshells in my relationship, avoiding arguments, so I would just start agreeing and stuff with things I didn't actually agree with her on intellectually, actions wise, etc., projection of life, etc. I was walking on eggshells with my parents as well, like, because I also avoided a lot of arguments with them, the way I didn't always agree with them politically, how they view the world, things like that, But here, I finally got free, and you can literally tell it, like the way I'm talking to you right now. Like this none of this is okay. I guess, yeah, the 12 list parts is scripted, but like everything else that I talk about is not scripted, right? I'm not a robot. I'm gonna deem this term, but I'm not a tower boy either. I don't just live in a tower and then come visit the people once a week down here. Like, no, man, I live among the people, dude. You know what I mean? And like, I I've always put myself in positions like that. It wasn't comfortable coming here 12 years ago with limited Spanish, and like, people like, having to learn everything as if almost like I was a child, sort of like 12 years ago, all the way up to today. I may make mistakes here and there with language, etc. Like nowadays, I'm at least blessed where like people are gonna understand me. I'm gonna understand them. I understand everything there is to do. Like, well, not everything, but like a lot of societal stuff, a lot of things around dating, a lot of things about Paraguayan nature, and then just also being a 33-year-old about human nature, women's nature, men's nature, being realistic about this stuff. Like, yeah, I'm able to be me, be a little bit more free version of me, and be a real version of me, right? Uh, and yeah, so there's probably going to be a long video. I said it wasn't going to be long, but all my videos are long. But yeah, man, I mean, that's the real thing. But none of these things are in the, oh, let me go back because I miss Cajun seasoning. Like, you know, I'm not going back to America for that. Like, hell no, dude. Get out of here. But there are some things. And a lot of people would call this petty stuff, and a lot of this is petty stuff, right? Because there's not the real deep stuff. Why I left America is the real stuff, which will be the next video. But this is kind of the lighthearted stuff, like, oh, I miss Amazon and American football and the Four Seasons and and ethnic restaurants and shit. Like, I can live without all of that, because here I'm happy, here I'm thriving, here I'm like, you know, have time to do what I want to do and not be worried about paycheck to paycheck. Like far too many Americans are. And dating is astronomically better. Even even when I don't work out with girls, it's still better. It's still better. Their beauty, their femininity, their this, their that, the fact that they even give me a chance. And then they realize, oh shit, he's not going to be a simp. He's not going to tell me everything that I want to hear. Oh shit, he actually has his own thoughts. Oh shit, he's not just going to lie to me and this and that. Cause like, there's just the saying, like, in Spanish, like, it's like, sabes mentir bonito, right? Like, you know how to lie pretty, like, you know how to tell somebody what they want to hear. And a lot of times people kind of want to be lied to. Not everybody wants to hear the truth, men or women, right? And then that's why I kind of fall off with a lot of relationships, right? Because I'll just give my truth. I'll be like, look, man, this is the way I see it. Or like, or like for the last time, like the reason this last one didn't work, and I was like, man, I'm really just trying to date you. I really don't really want to go down the whole like, oh, let me meet all your 10,000 fucking friends. Like, no, I'm just into you, actually, believe it or not. And That's actually what happened a lot in America too. Well, if you date me, then you're gonna have to come to this barbecue with me. I mean, duh. What's wrong with you? You're not gonna come and spend all afternoon with me. It's like, no, let's just get together at night because I just want to see you. I don't care about your fucking friends. And oh, even here they'll get mad. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Oh my god! Oh my god! You don't want to know me and all 10,000 people in my life? Right. You are selfish. You are selfish. Like, no, I'm just putting up some red lines. I know what I mean? And like, down here, like, I don't want people to look at me as the American that's going to invite. And when you say invite in Spanish, invitar, that means you're going to be paying. I don't want to be even put in positions where I'm like, look, man, they look at me as the American, like, okay, he's got all the money. So he's going to be paying for me. And it's like, I don't fucking know how long your fucking stupid ass friends stay out all night type deal. Okay, I'm getting off on this crazy ass tangents here. My bad, you guys. I'll bring us down back to earth. But the thing is like, okay, what was that even about? Oh, dating, right? Dating's better, but you're still gonna run into a lot of shit that like if you're a man of principle, you may not last very long with some girls. And that's good because they need to get filtered the fuck out so you can find the right one later. That's where I'm at. But overall, it's still better than America. At least you're going to get that date. At least you have a chance. At least she looks at you like you're a fucking human being and not like a creep or not like a opportunist or not like a toxically masculine male part of the patriarchy. Oh my God. Patriarchal society. I'm like, the fuck out of you. You don't even know what a real patriarchal society is. You have no goddamn clue. Shit, historically or to this day. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Okay, you guys. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I went on a whole tangent there at the end. But anyways, these were the 12 reasons why. I miss America, right? Pretty petty reasons, most of them, except for like the top couple. But life is better here, man. It is. Do your deeds. Do what you need to do to get here. But still, shout out America. I am American. Okay, I'm Paraguayan American. I'm American Paraguayan, whatever the fuck you want to call me. Right on my best life, Paraguay. Thanks, guys, for watching another video. Much love. And yeah, try take the steps to move out the country. You know, you're still American. Okay, you're still paying taxes. You're still answering to Uncle Sam. You know what I mean? You're still, yeah, you're still American. So, and it's okay to recognize some trends, but even the few positive that you might miss from home. You feel me? All right, you guys. I'm out of here. Peace.